Hello guys, this is another OptiChillcode. It's the third one in a row. I don't know if I will do it forever, but I wanna see where this goes, and I have some other plans today for what to work with. The music is again this Drive Unlimited. It's the fat grooves. Previously we must have done the maximum beats and initially the chill vibes. Now the rest of them, some of them might not be very suitable. Maybe I'll do some demo scene chip tune next time. And yesterday I posted the Bugo Engine report because I wasn't gonna do another Bugo Engine coding today. Although my last chill code I didn't even code, I was just showing things. And however, I'm still working on that project. I'm very excited, and I think I should focus on certain things for the winter. Definitely the Bugo engine, and I might be making space now for an empty scene to start actually making some game scene. Put some gravity, move the player, put some boxes, do something instead of the benchmarks. And the other thing is 3DO. I really have to go back to Bizarro Untergrund and actually now on the PC port. But the PC port can either build for PC or I have unified them. So this one could even go if I wanted. I always commit on this one now. Because it has both the 3DO simulator thing. Not emulator, simulating of certain rendering functions and high level emulation of high API calls, and only the things I'm using, not like a complete thing, which is also the port 3DO base where some of my experiments I kinda try to make them work on a SDL window. That helps really well, although it's still unfinished. There is a lot of things to fix there, but for my game it's fine. And those are the things, but I also have, I'm thinking if there is a third project I have to give some love, it should be OptiDoom 3DO. I should go back to OptiDoom. And I should really try to figure out performance this time. Maybe decide to try and write some things in assembly. I don't know when, but I must go back to this. And even clean up some old code. But more about that later. And even with Bizarro Untergrund, I end up trying things. Oh, sorry. The mouse thing. And just showing the same preview all over again and again. I noticed this texture is very distracting. It's supposed to be a cave thing. And maybe I should do some variation and add some other stuff. Anyway, I have many ideas. I notice some points are flickering because things are not connected well because of the loading I'm using. Different sizes of texture, especially here. My god. I'm gonna figure that out too. I mostly fix it so that when you are up there and the walls don't disappear, but see here some corners do disappear. I might do something. I might say, you know what, I consider things mostly fixed so that I focus on the things in the gameplay department. However, there are two technical stuff I need to do. Very important before I can go. And maybe I'll try to look at this now, but you know, it could be boring because I'm not working on the main thing. These are essential before I start building my own maps. Now the primary thing is we have a grid map. We have a block information 32 by 32 by 32 blocks. From that one we construct the geometry, but that information, the grid map, and it's a pointer block pointer blocks, and each of them has 8 bytes. And I made them into charts and aligned so that I fit exactly the space. Material, this is an index from 0 to 255 for the block number. Now this might not be needed. We might be able to, it's a temporary holder for when I calculate the lighting on the edit mode on PC here. I'm not calculating that on the 3DO anymore. I've made it that I calculate things and then save into binary files. Both the visibility and the light, which take time. Like if I switch to editor mode. And how would you switch to editor mode? Also, as I work here, I realize it's on editor mode that I can press certain buttons and save the existing geometry with lighting information and in files. It will recalculate lighting and visibility. It could take a few seconds. On the 3DO you could be waiting for a minute or something, or half a minute or more. And now I lost myself. Now the action is for some blocks that are interactive. I really will redesign this. Maybe half of them are not needed. You definitely need the material. And now I have the area now, which is like a number that tells you which area the block belongs. Now that it might be needed. It might be needed, but we construct the geometry and we split the geometry in different areas. So if you have 20 different areas, like a single corridor might be one area, or I might split the corridor in 2 or 3 pieces. Then the visible area bits, you are sitting on a block and it tells you from this block you can only see geometry 2, 3 and 11. So at that point you might not need the area, but you might also need the area. You might want for some reason to know that I am in this area. I'm sitting on a block. Now that area will be also part of the visible area bits. Anyway, I think it's possible to make this into a Uint32 to reduce the size. This is 8 bits now. This will be also important for memory, but for other reasons too. You know, 32 by 32 by 32 is that. By 8 bytes, sorry, 8 bytes. It's gonna be that. If I halve this, I'm gonna gain 128k of memory, which is important. But there is a better reason that I want to redesign. I have an idea, because now the visible area bits, you are in a block and you might want to know which areas are visible, and I only have 32, because there are 32 bits, you know, and I might have stored this like that. So I know area 0, area 1, or area 1, area 2, 3, 4 is visible, blah blah blah. And they are all together. And I think I don't know if I can do it in this video. And also I have to see when I switch to editor mode, editor is using some of that stuff. Maybe light and area can go away. Action, it doesn't work right now. And it's just increasing, you might need more. I think action is when I'm going near. So I'm going near this block, and now I'm losing health. It's flashing because it knows in this block I'm gonna lose. Or I'm going to this flower and I'm propelled. Whee! Or this boink, boink, boink. I'm propelled in a random direction. And every block will have an increasing action, but after 255 I stop. And I might want to do that in a different way. And actually I know. And here's the thing, but I have to redesign it carefully, and probably not in this video. I don't even know. Probably it wouldn't be that hard. And if you switch from this to editor mode and back, a lot of things have to change, because the editor mode now saves that. If you go to the data, CD data, we have the mesh. The mesh is variable size, you see, because every level has different number of polygons and so on. But the grid blocks is it's raw data. It's 262,144 exactly, 32 by 32, 32, 8 bytes. It could be compressed also. And whenever I switch to the editor mode, it might populate that stuff based on that, create the meshes, and also save that stuff in the files, both the mesh file and that, and do some searches, calculate the accumulating light and put it there. But after that we don't need this light. I could zero this light and it wouldn't matter anymore. I think it's that. And the area might or might not be needed. So we have this issue here. Let's see, we might find more. There is so much yeah, you're gonna find more. Oh, you find the lighting. Yeah, you can search it like this. Okay, maybe. So this is in the editor. Now here, world.lights, that's a different thing. We don't have multiple lights now. I made a system where I could add multiple lights, but I don't think I'm using this thing. I don't think I'm using add light to world. This is not used in this engine, because we don't have multiple lights. So okay, we only use on the... Now the size is very small for the capture, sorry. I'm accumulating light from the blocks. Oh, I use this for when I place. When I place those blocks, which also burn you, and also the gems, I will put also some increased light information, so later from every surface I throw rays in the hemisphere and I see what it hits, how much light from nearby it accumulates. Now, and also it's diminishing. If it has moved many blocks, it's gonna get less. So all of these have a radius. It's not even the blocks. I go everywhere where I have blocks and I add invisible voxel spheres, let's say. Voxel, I mean with the same size as the block, radius. So anyway, you see this is used here. Fill solid box, yeah, this is it. Create sphere. And I'm just putting some during the level creation. Add light around noise. Add light, what does that even mean? So this is totally something that the 3DO game doesn't need anymore. It's like a temporary holder. I could even move it now, and maybe the area too. I need to. Maybe the area is used, and maybe I need the area. Maybe I need to know when I'm sitting on a block which area I am. Except if I do something. Yeah, you need it for the actions. So the action would have to be more than 255. How does that go? Very good. The material is the only thing you need. And thinking about it, do you? Okay, maybe you look nearby to see if you are nearby the flowers, nearby the. So it's not the actions. I might have lied. The action is for when you make the gems. The gems that you are trying to, which by the way is broken now. This is so broken from what I did. If I go near gem and do it, it doesn't want to do it because that information is lost. It might do it here. It kinda does it here. This is lost. This is broken. Unfortunately, since I tried to optimize the engine, the thing I wrote on Ludum Dare on the game dev jam, but I will refactor anyway. And I think if you, however, where is the editor? The fact that I'm lost means I'm not doing something well here. So somewhere, oh here, I have edit one. There are so many things I have to refactor. So I think if you go here, the particles will work now. Oh, they still don't work. Oh, but they will make it disappear. Now they didn't work there. Why is it working only on? Yo, things that used to work are broken right now. Yes, I'm in the middle of development. Only from top. Huh, what have I done? You realize there is trouble development with this thing. But I do have to finish those technical things because why I'm not fixing that now? First of all, I have to really design the way you use this thing. It's very silent, it doesn't have the oomph. You don't feel like you're... Maybe I can replace the particles with a laser and make particles and make the screen shaking. And it was really a tech demo in a way on the game jam. But the thing is, even if I fix that, I don't need to fix that now because I'm searching for this one. Where is it? Yeah. I'm going to refactor this whole struct, both for fewer memory consumption and because of this visible area, because I want more than 32 visible areas. I'm going to be able to split the map more efficiently. I can't make bigger maps like this. And in the meanwhile I have to refactor. But if I refactor it changes everything in the code. It changes how the editor works, the main game, how the editor saves files here, how the main game will load those files. And it's really a goal. So okay, maybe I'll stop going around. I don't know, still don't know if I'll do it in this video. And I'm gonna try. Yeah, this has to be fixed in the editor mode first. Because the main game is gonna load this thing and it's gonna be different. If I alter something, if I decide, okay, you know what? Fuck you. It's gonna load the existing files. You're gonna get a fuck you. If I do this, you're gonna get another fuck you. Oh yeah, we need it. Maybe misaligned that even. Yeah, what are you doing, man? Because it's all here, eh? In not editor mode, it's gonna load the files. Now, in editor mode, yeah, so this is the direction. We do have to fix this. That might also be fixed. If we fix this, it might be possible to refactor and do other kinds of stuff. It would be possible to have more dynamic stuff. I'll tell you why. And add more stuff without duplicating the memory or breaking things. So now we are on editor mode. If I go and say F you, if I alter the structure, the editor mode will initialize this grid map structure and it will build based on that. Now it's gonna build the files only if I tell it save. It's gonna work. And maybe how do you save? Is it as the frame rate? It's the frame rate on PC, of course. Now it's either F5 or F6. F5. Oh, okay, F5. You see now? I'm building the visibility. And I'm working all the CPUs too, so that this finishes fast. It was a big thing. I used to wait for a minute. Now I have 4 cores here. It's not the fastest code. Now if I press F6 now, it's gonna save the light much faster. It's gonna calculate the light. Oh no, the grid method. Okay, no, the first one is calculate both visibility and lights. The second, the grid map. But now it saves it directly. Might be saving directly here. No. I'm saving it outside, and that's for the better because I can check if it's not wrong. Now the grid mesh one is the same. Oh, okay, that might be some visibility information. I'm not sure why, but the size is the same, and the grid block, see the size now. It's bigger. It's even because of alignment. Okay, I put a car, but it's really like 3 goals. So from 8 bytes it went to 12 bytes. That's my estimation. Yes, that's true. Now I could read. Actually, let's see if it's that easy right now. Though. I copy it. Now this has the stupid. It has this, but nothing is accessing it if I go to the. I want to see how much I can work with this. Also, if I do the fundamental change, and maybe level 1 still runs. Yeah, it runs. Also, the struct is bloated, but the code is only accessing the struct objects that you care about. So, but the second level might not probably work because, of course, it even crashed. Yeah. Okay, so this is how things are. If I'm not on edit mode and I make a change to the struct, I have to go on edit mode and save. Hold it. Why not just grid blocks one? Okay, yeah, it's outside here. Okay, delayed that. Yeah, so I'm building the stuff outside and not inside so that I don't override, so that I check everything is fine before I copy. But then I could also revert, it doesn't matter. So that's the story right now. We're 28 minutes. Maybe we should go 1 and 20. Maybe we should go till it's finished. Because there might be work to do. And sure, I can remove and add different things. Huh. The thing is, if I remove light that we don't use, but we use area, you're not gonna gain anything because it's not gonna be aligned. But I have a better plan. But now that if I change to that, it's not gonna work. It's gonna it could save the thing. No, you need this. You need this thing for the editor. And maybe in the game we might have. We could call this something different. We could call it edit block. But then we have it on the grid mode, we have it everywhere. So right now there's so much code in the editor that still relies on that. Anyway, let's talk about the goal. The goal is to make this struct, possibly. It could be a bit more on the CPU, but maybe very little if we don't do much. It could be... Let me think about it. And I can even reduce the memory more if I wanted. Ah, there are two things you can do. I might even be describing it here. I will want to have, would be a pointer, would be an index. It could be a pointer to know some block data. Now we're talking theoretically what I want to do. And here you could store maybe some of that stuff. Maybe not all of them. Or it could be now swords are not good on 3DO. Now it's gonna be an aligned sword though, but they're not. It's gonna be not as good for performance. But I might be accessing this very few times anyway, and I might go for this. I'll tell you why. And then I can use two chars. I can have the material. The material is essential, and I guess the area. Because also we can live with 256 areas instead of 32, and the index can go 65. Yeah. That could be more than enough. We are having the current. And of course that. So the most important thing is the material. We might try to frequently access it when a player is somewhere and look at nearby. And which area the player is could be very useful. Or the specific block at which area it is. We also use this for objects, because we can have a small enemy moving around and we can look at the blocks it's sitting and we can know, okay, it's sitting on this and this area. So if the player in another block realizes that area is visible or not visible, it will know, the player will know to not render the 3D mesh, like that teapot example I saw once, and all these 3D objects I have. I am including them by areas right now, and I think I'm checking which. Now a big object might be sitting in multiple. The bounding box might extend and might be capturing nearby areas, but right now I just said, okay, I'm positioning that object, the center of the object, in that block, and it's that area, so make that one. I made a crude visualization. You could be positioning it between a cut between two areas and see it disappear. I can extend this, so I might have to access this frequently. If the object is moving, I could have some info that you need to see if this and this area is visible for that object. Now again, the swords, this is an unsigned sword really. I think I have also that one. And why do I have that? Because technically all the blocks in existence are 32 by 32 by 32. This is, it's not even 65 536. So you might do, instead of having the visible area, you might have and you don't need to. You might say, so you're gonna make a block data of, are you gonna make that? This is defeating the purpose because it's 3276 by 4 bytes. Okay, this is, it's like I split it. It's 131,072, and this block data is another, is the same, because the block is again like that by 4 bytes. So you came back to, but that, no, it's not. First of all, because I go here, I can the point was the area bits. Suppose I put a lot of these are, I'm gonna structure them differently. So that's even worse now, because it's the previous, it's really this size plus this size, 256k plus 128k. But that is not, because, okay, most maps inside blocks where player can move, not solid blocks. This is where we care about the visible area bits. However, there are some issues, but I can do the nearby. Might be 1,000, 3,000, 7,000. So what I mean, let's see if this compares. This space that you move, where things matter, where is where we need to know the visible area bits. Like I'm here, what else is visible from the whole map? I cannot go inside. I cannot go inside. So the living space is not 32,000 centimeters. It might be 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 blocks, 10,000 blocks. It might be much smaller than that. And that's the idea. That I could have something like that. Now, this is enough. I need something more than char. I need short. I don't want to put int. I know not good for the 3DO. Now this whole thing is aligned for at 4 bytes. And this is gonna go to the block data. So you might be saying, malloc and maybe when I generated the map and the map is static after I save it, I might realize this is the number of blocks that are the player can walk, and that's it. So now it's really that by 8 bytes. Plus half the amount. So from memory we're less. Now the thing is, I could say, okay, maybe do something like that, maybe do something stupid to add more bits, which will be harder to search. It's gonna be, maybe do some uint64 or long, long in and hope the compiler. So maybe you have 64 areas now. But I might have exploded the size of this. So there were solutions before. And the action is still 256. Well, what if I do here? I can, if I want this action thing, if I'm only this one, maybe it's, I don't know. Is it 10,000? Am I having such a big level? Even if I make bigger level, it's gonna be corridor. It's gonna be a lot of space that is not used. So with the indirection and sort is more than enough. In the worst case scenario, it will be 3. In the worst case scenario, we'll go into the 256k plus 128k. Like 50% more memory, but it's not gonna be even that. And if it is in that case, that's okay. Can be a special map that somehow fits in memory. Now, unfortunately, I'm not just running, I'm not coding. But because this needs thought. Let's see. No, but that's my goal. But if I do it, I have to go back and forth and fix everything. I don't think I can do that in a sitting. I just like to discuss my thoughts on this now, and maybe this is not. Maybe I don't have all this for. Okay, we have material and area. Now you could have material and area here, and this is could be an in, but it needs to be a sort. Now you could make it in the sort and use even less memory for this one, and everything goes there. But I could save, I could see the things I access the most. It doesn't go from this one, jump to the other one for every little thing. In modern PC, you wouldn't even care. You say make a mega structure, and who cares? And I also realized this is useless. I can put more stuff here. However, this is currently the light saved for the static geometry to calculate the setting. I can put another kind of light, and I could have some light accumulate on the existing light sometimes. There is an idea. I could do something like in Quake where you throw a grenade and it lights the place. So I could have a light value that is not the original. It's not the same contextually. There are so many things you can store here. However, if you have to do it, you have to align. Now I think the compiler, if you put it there and forget, it's gonna align for you, but I prefer to be consistent. And maybe the correct thing is to have on higher up have the biggest values, the biggest types, and then have the chart types and the sort. Also here, if I set it like this, it might be relevant. I think the compiler can figure it out, but... So you see, I have... Maybe action could be sorted so that I have enough. I might go over to 56 at some point. Now that wouldn't be also, you would have to put it here. And now there is one dummy for adding something else. It could be anything. Oh, but I forget. I do need the visible area bits. Oh, I have it up there, okay. So this is 8 bytes. But those block data could be a much smaller number than 32k. It could be 2000, 5000, 7000, something like that. So I can extend that if I want. I could say I'm adding more stuff. They will have fewer values. It will be always that this index will point to a smaller array of only the living space. Well, the block is gonna go over every block. Material and area, I could move there, but I can keep things there. Anyway, that's the plans. I have to read to see if it's consistent with my thoughts. Area, action, and visible area bits could be unsigned. So even area. I might have thought at the time that I need to put more than 256 areas, but I think 256 would be enough. If area is short, I cannot have the material, or I have to put it here. Do I need to access material very frequently? Maybe that's what I was thinking. And I was even thinking, I'm complicating that. Suppose I want light and area. Maybe area has 1000 values or 10 bits and the next 6 bits is some light value or something. I know short are not good for them, but how many times are we gonna access them? Oh god. Oh, if we have to split mess in different indices, wouldn't we just need to know? What am I saying here? I'm loading the mess at this point on the editor. There is more, you know, there is this thing where I'm using the weapon to extract gems, the laser thing, the particle thing, and I have to alter the side, and I have an extra map which might be this one, the 6 phase dimension. I don't know why I'm saying this. Exactly, it will be visible area index to another list of in an array of lists. Oh, I wanted to make a what do why I say list? Oh yeah, how am I gonna? I'm not gonna have. Oh boy. I'm not gonna have visible area. I'm not gonna have area because then it's obviously 32. Should I do something like that? I don't like it. I'm gonna need to have something, a pointer. It's gonna be a linked list thing. And you see now it's getting bad. Now, technically speaking, I will need to access this once the player is sitting in a block. I need to know which of the area indices are visible, and now the area is 0 to 255. I don't want to order them in bits anymore, because I will need a much bigger. I will need something like that, and it's gonna even explode the size of this one, even if there are fewer living space. Oh boy, it's gonna have to be and it's gonna be a linked list. Where you could walk it and see, okay, this area, this area, this area. Render this area, this area, this area, because that's the visible thing. Or even return you. It's not gonna be here. Cause I could have said, okay, unsigned char visible array. Maybe a block can see 3 arrays, 5, 10, maybe 32 max. No, this is gonna make 255, 256 bytes. Now it could be a pointer to such a list. It could be not linked list, it could be something here. You see how overcomplicate things. That could be pointing. Could be different allocated. Oh my god, for every block. You realize now that this has to be carefully. 2, 3, 4, and now I'm not explaining. And maybe this one will be like number of elements, like 4, and then area 1, 2, 7, 8, 11. So you say, so the first element is like, okay, there's gonna be 4 areas that are visible from this block. Just go and get them. It could be that. Maybe that's better in a way. Now that spends more, because I need this extra information. I really have to. Now there are 2 things that have to happen. I really have to think this through, or. And I know you might say, if you are hitting the same goal, you should do something else. Go make some portal engine or something. I'm just gonna go work with that, because that works very nicely with the difference of, you know, if I was on PC, I would just go and put, okay, 64, or do something else. I would just be like, make something that is easy to work. But then I thought this could be a pointer, which will have. It could be a linked list that has value. Maybe this is better, and the next to the next one. And if this is null, then stop. And accumulate them. And have a simple accumulated visible areas. At worst it will be that. And a num. Or it could be like that, and it could go number of LM areas. And then But that's a common one that I will populate and give back and say based on that now render. Eh, and it might seem complicated, and you know what about performance and so on, but this has to happen once for the player. Now you might say, what if I add whether an enemy can see the player or not, and I have many enemies. Yeah, if we reach that point, we'll see. I might do that in a different way. I might do the AI to be dumb. I like this more with. I might like this more with some kind of linked list. So the linked list will be allocated in a different place. I could make it into an array, a pointer to an. So it could be an unsigned char pointer. First element, the number of following areas, and iterate through them. And I might not do micro allocation. I might build an arena. Visible area as arena. Something like that. Where I will start populating. I have to think though. Suppose we have 7,000. Suppose we have 1,000. How many bytes on average? Some blocks will from these blocks I see 1 area, 2 areas, 3, 10 areas. What would be the average? So this could take 10 bytes. How much the other one? Okay, this takes, the pointer is 4 bytes, and this takes 8 bytes. But every one of them could an average, a bad average could be 8 bytes. There might be enough blocks that are looking at 1 area, 2 area, 3 areas. Another idea was that this area, if you are in a block, on which area you are sitting, not which area you are visible. This area will also be here. Now, I could move that there and use this dummy for something else. But it's very fundamental to know the material and the area I'm sitting. I'm also thinking about that. The problem with that, the action, I'm setting action on the solid blocks, because I use the actions for when I'm burning with the laser the gems, and the solid gem, that's the block that has the action, it's not the empty space. Now I could add them. I could add, this doesn't have to be only solid, only empty space, or all solid blocks and everything. It can be all empty space and the few blocks that happen to have something actionable, like a gem. It could be a block that is shaped like a keyhole, and you're using to place a gem to open some other gate. Okay, so that's okay. This block data could be 7,000 plus 200 blocks that happen to have something actionable but are solid. It doesn't have, okay. That was my other thought. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Now I could make only the adjacent, only the blocks that are adjacent. Add also every block that is adjacent to the empty space. But you don't even need to do that if there is You might check for action. Oh my, you might check for action. But however, wait a minute. Let me think. This is a block I'm sitting, but it could be a nearby block because I'm checking nearby block. Every block has an index. And you know, the blocks I don't care about, a solid block that inside solid ground you can never reach. This could be -1. -1 is 65536. So I can reserve 65535. 65535. To say, okay, if you see that, there is no action. So if I'm looking nearby solid blocks and there's nothing to do there. Wait a minute, no. So, do you need a solid block? Do you need to know if it's visible? No, because you are never inside the solid block. Because I might have to check out other stuff. The light value of a solid block. We might need, you know, I can add them too. I can add the adjacent. The solid block that nearby they have empty space. Now that's for the future, the another line. Maybe I should take it. This is... And the other thing, the action. I'm working on a block with the... Why do I need the action? Because... Okay, I'm digging that and I want to know that this block has to change its own, and this action is mapped with something else I have, which is this one maybe, or something else. Man, this is so bad. I'm getting an idea now. I think because this is not going well and I'm just describing ideas, I might stop now. Because this is not something I would be able to do in a chill code. We need to see actual code. I'm almost not sure if I should upload this video, but I will. I'm chilling, I mean, I'm not very chill. I don't know if code chill was a good idea. You know, this is something that needs thought. This is not something, but let's finish it. This will go through. I don't know about this thing. This is... Yeah, see, I forgot about that. This is not bits anymore. It's an index to that. Maybe I can work a bit. Suppose I go with that. Let's see. Next time, maybe not destroy the video. Unsigned sword, yeah, that's what I do. But for now, I didn't light in a file. We'll do it for visible area bits. Material and light. White light. Easy right, all you need is unsigned sword index. Our max you will need 32,768. Block would just be 2 binds instead of... I could even make it shorter. See, I can reduce memory more in disadvantage that accessing sorts would be slower a bit. And it depends how many sorts I'm going to access. I'm all okay. I've already lost here with unsigned sort. You might say make it an unsigned int. Or you don't even have block anymore. You have an index. So that's the other idea. If I don't want to access, I would simply say okay, unsigned int block indices or something. And this could be 32 by 32 by 32. And everything is point here, and I can move material and area there. So this is... Now, I know that light and area... That is if I want to access I like the sort thing. Now this is you are accessing but if you want to access material and area, you always have to indirect it here. And this one is gonna take the same as this one now. And you could say, you know what, fuck you. Now I'm taking 64k instead of... And then the rest, it's gonna be fewer living space. I'm in a dilemma now. I know that possibly I'm accessing... Can I refactor? Okay. If I go with this one, how easy it is to refactor? Because here I say it could be 2 bytes, the block could be 2 bytes. But I'm going for 4 bytes. How many times I'm accessing the material? How many times I'm accessing the area? Oh god. And you have to do it on the editor and save. Now, we have to remember why this all started. It all started because this visible area bits, it's not enough for the areas numbers I want. Now, I could go even 64, which is, I have it and it's a... Do I also have that? Ah, it's on Opera Math. Ah, U32 high and low. Why le? Ah, low. I couldn't see it. And you have 64 areas. Maybe 64 areas are kinda enough. Uh, Imagine if you have 4 times. You don't have to bother. Normally I would have liked and yeah, you see, suppose 255 is not, 256 is not enough for areas to split them up in area. It should be. You can always work it to say, you know what? If you move the block data here, you can do whatever you want. You can put an unsigned sort with that one, like in the action. And this one, it could be an unsigned sort, so you could have visible areas that more than 256. And those data are fewer. But you know what I think? No, I have to take a decision. The decision is, here's what we might be doing. Keep that one for now. Now we use the same struct as the hard thing. Okay guys, this is a disaster. We have 15 minutes and I might just... the thing is, things are accessing this either on the editor or code on the game. I could rename it, I could call it block data, or this block. So you have one that's the thing that will be saved for the actual game. You have one that's make it easier for me to work on the editor and stuff. So you have the one that doesn't care about memory and the one that tries to. And the one that doesn't care about the memory, I would not have visible area bits, I would have... And that also needs to... The thing is, if I change everything here, it's gonna collapse. And I have to make a start. I have to say, you know what? Let's call this block data. This is now for the editor. I'll keep the block so that everything works. But when I make the editor to store the block data, not the block data, and I have the block data here. Yeah, how to name that one? Block final. The thing is, I might want to say block editors, or not block editors, but I might want eventually, but I want to keep this so that things work for now. And I will convert from this one to those one. But later I want on the other side, when I say block, I mean block, and I mean this now. I'll call it block new. Fuck you. And I decide I'm gonna have a sort So if the block has 65535, it's not gonna point anywhere here. And you know this block it's gonna be an increasing number again. So we are like, we need to create new block data for this block. Either it's living space, it's empty space, or it's a solid block that still matters because it's nearby living space and we want to alter it. So I'm gonna have an increasing number 0, 1, 2, 3, and maybe it reaches 5,000 something. It's never gonna reach. The best thing it can reach 32,767. So you could even do 32,768 to mark solid blocks. To mark blocks we don't care. Even blocks we don't care. Maybe we have a block. Why would you care about the block? You want to know if the player is there, if things are visible. There is an action. Remove this. I can have some blocks that are very high in the ceiling that the player will never be able to reach, and also not add those if I wanted. And maybe things won't work there. You will go there and visibility will be like, yeah. You could have an empty space that the player can never reach because it's a hole in it's a cave inside a cave, let's say. Something behind the wall that you can never reach, and like a gap or something. Not a gap. So you can be clever. You can have an area with very high ceiling, and you can be like, the player is never gonna reach that. But maybe it's better to mark them with something. I don't know. Technically you could reduce the size. Fine, we will have the material. You might say Art of 56 material, they are enough. You need different textures for it. They are more than enough. The area, I'm gonna go for 250. I think it will be enough. I'm with 32 now. And I split some corridors in 2 and 3 parts in the existing. We will have 8 times that. I have to work with, maybe I'll do some simple game. And stop the bullshit now. And the block data index will point, and we're gonna have, I was either thinking of a linked list or a linked list has extra information, extra points, it's gonna take more. While this one, you go in some char area, you read the following number of bytes and you accumulate them. I'm gonna go for that. Yeah, I want this to be stable, you know. I'm not gonna put a static array here. I'm gonna put a pointer to another array. So it's gonna be an indirection here, and then for a single block where the player stands, give me once per frame which areas are visible. And I have unsigned sort action now. It goes unsigned char. These are generally the dummies, and I have to say unsigned char dummy. Now, if I want to make this into light or something else, And again, you can very easily put those here, and this can be not even a struct block, you know, a short block data index. How easy would be to? I'm in a dilemma. We are accessing the sort anyway, which is not as good, but it's good, could be minimal. I don't want for some very standard values to say the action will be when you use your weapon. It could be for more things. When you interact with a wall in front of you, could be a keyhole where you put a gem to open, could be something, could be. It's gonna be another check per frame. Forward vector from the player, okay, there is a block in front of me. It might tell you 0, there is nothing, do nothing. It might tell you, oh, there is interaction here. Now the material, we read it. I wonder if we do okay, we do something with the material. If the material is the flower or the light, so we have another kind of, I said before that this is an action. This is not an action. This is an effect from the material. So, and now you are gonna, the player is somewhere, and below him, below his position, you will look at the block below. What block is the player on? What's below? It's lava. I'm gonna take damage. In front it's another lava. In the left it's a healing wall. I'm gonna heal myself. In the right is that. So we might do many checks, although not too much, in all directions. And the area could be also the area. What do we do with the area? Which area is the player, but also which area is. We might have to access it for moving objects. Moving objects will read, and maybe the bounding box will read more than one block, like a 3x3 block or something. We read and say, okay, and get the area from every block and say, okay, this is the list. Of the areas I'm sitting on. The reality is that we haven't accommodated for that now. Maybe it's not needed because in the engine, in the mesh, this is what we did. And we do it with area bits right now. And I do it for particles because the particles are spread everywhere. Okay, so, that's a different one. Every polygon of the particles might be in an area, depending on the block. Okay, this is where we check. If you have 256 particles spreading around, I'm doing some kind of visibility. Maybe it's not necessary. Yeah, this is where we have to access area a lot. But I thought there was something else. Maybe in the object. Maybe. I don't see it. I did have somewhere where I was storing this object is in this area. Could it be in the mess? I don't see it here. There's so many things here. I'm doing something else. Add object to base one. Add object to wall. What do I do? So oh, I have object info. It's not on the object. And this is the visibility area check. And I even have something that says check for visibility or not check. This I want this to be always visible, for example, like the gun you're carrying. The priorities for rendering priority. Oh, it just went from this one. And I guess that's it. It might be good that I'm revisiting my thoughts about this, and even for myself, and I have a plan of how to move. It's a hard refactor. It seems like I'm complicated, maybe I am. It's just hard. Someone might say, scrap it and go into port. Yeah, I have to re-implement everything now. I want to, yeah, sometimes coders are stubborn, they stick in a solution, and I don't think it's that complicated. Because Portal will be complicated too, BSPs will be complicated too. The simple solution is not bad, but again, you would have to say, okay, make 256 visible bits, if that existed. And now every block has... And technically, if you do this block index, the block data will be very few. And you could go here and say, okay, 256, because now we are very few, we're much fewer. I was saying, where do I put the light and everything? Yeah. There's not gonna be a light anymore at this point. This is only needed for the editor. So this could be the editor, and I'm gonna replace with new, and then I will call this block editor, block old or whatever, and call this block. I give that so that even if I change those structs, so we have to decide. This will be pointing here, and we're gonna have a block data, my block data, all the few visible blocks. I predict it to be like few thousand. Worst case, if it's 16384, then this is taking 8 bytes, and this is taking 4 bytes, and again this one is 3768, the maximum. So these ones are another word is sparse. These ones are sparse. These ones are every. Like 4 is one, and then if this was that bad, it would be In that case, that is gonna we're gonna end up in the old size. This gives us more flexibility. So this is the time when we are equal, and we're gonna be less. I haven't counted them, but most living spaces on this corridor, it could be, they are more than 1,000, and it could be something very small, not even 7,000. So we might be better from memory, but at least the same. And now we have more flexibility for that, but that takes extra memory. It's really gonna be. Look old. Or let's say knee, where knee is the living space, by 4, no 8, plus average visible area. How many? How many areas are visible from block? 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. So if we were 8192 and maybe the average was 8, it will go back. But it's not gonna be. At worst we are at the same. We're not gonna gain much memory. Unless I go for the short version and gain another script, okay. Unless those material areas are here. I'm not gonna do it. So we haven't done much, but this one, which is the editor. Oh. What have I missed now? Oh! You know, this is the way it's saved. Yeah, I put, okay, keep that like that. I said, yeah, it's a typical thing to put. Let's put it, that's not gonna, I don't care, put it like that. Because the file data are saved with that order. So those are the extra structs. Structs to use and cover my future. Big future work. No, I'm gonna go with this one. I'm not gonna change it now. Ah, and we were in not edit mode, and now we are on edit mode. That's why. On edit mode that would work also. And we end up talking and thinking about it. You know, I made another capsule that I deleted. It was worse. So if you think this is bad, that's fine. I'm just doing it for myself. maybe people see. So in the future in the editor, I want to. This shouldn't be that hard. Everything works now that. If I make the editor to save the data with the new format, that's step one. There would be more work to make the new format work. Everything that access material area will be the same. Yeah, I might have to. If we save something with that, the main game will work with that. If the struct is the same. Previously I changed the order, and because the file was old, the order was different. So if we save with this one, and we make it to use the block new, then it's gonna read the most stuff, read material and area maybe, but it's not gonna find. It's not using light, it's using action. I have to, and it's using visible area bits. I have to change those parts of code. Maybe I could do some abstraction layer, I don't know, and make things very slow. Or some macro something, not macro, I mean, that will go from, or I can change the code to do the extra step, use the data index to go to the other, to this, it shouldn't be hard, and grab the action, and this we're gonna need more. It has to grab this, it's gonna happen one place, and extract it. This is gonna point to an extra list. And that's the file saving will be harder. Now I'm just saving the whole struct, the whole block all. It's gonna have to save the block new and save, and maybe I want it in one file. The living space block data, and this is gonna be another list. It's kinda painful. Now the other thing is, right now the block data I'm initializing in one because it's the same. I wanna gain in speed, in memory, sorry. And anyways guys, that's it. Commit is nothing. Burger of plants. Yeah, my git stuff or not. I'm okay though, because I kinda have a plan. I know you're gonna tell me I'm overcomplicating. I should have gone for another solution. I just want to move with that. Unless I think of something else. Because I could try to do other kind of visibility, but it's gonna take me a lot of time of research, and I really want to get into the game. And you know what? I can do it in the future. My plan is to finish the game. Suppose you have a deadline. I still don't know when, probably next year. But I could make 30 levels, do some basic gaming. You say, you know what? That's it. It was just a project made out of a game jam, and then I can move on with this engine and do something else. Then I could look at different ways. But maybe if I build it, I would like it. I would like this man. That's fine. That's fine. That's one way to do things. And guys, that's it. Why am I even running that? Because it's the end. Bye. And maybe next chill code will be something light. Not even something around my main project. I'll see. See you.